Reconsider.
David Jones. Jeff Perry. Anthony. Mayor John Edwards.
Here.
Diane Munns. Amy Taylor for Diane Munns. Susan Hubbard. Here. Tom Coe.
Here.
Jake Anderson.
Here.
Mayor Tom Phillips.
Here.
Jeff Walters.
Here.
John Kuhn.
Neil White.
Carol Freeman. Here. Mayor Courtney Clark.
Here.
Jody Smith.
Here.
Dan Lovett.
Here. We have four. A couple of housekeeping things, just FYI, if there's two people talking, the technology doesn't necessarily pick things up, and also if your voice doesn't carry, you don't need to speak up just so everybody can hear. And the second thing, you may have noticed that at our first initial meeting that we were taking verbal votes, and we'll continue to do that unless any member at any time asks for a roll call vote on any item. We'll do it that way. So I want to make sure that that's reiterated, because I didn't state that at the last meeting. So the agenda is before us as a working document. Are any modifications to the agenda? Move approval. Second. Clyde and Johnston. Discussion. All those in favor of approving the agenda as presented will indicate by saying aye.
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 Agenda is approved. Now's the time and place for any public individual who would like to speak on any item related to CIWW matters. Hearing or seeing none, we'll move on to the consent agenda. Routine items that are noted here. I just have one reference on item B, which is the motion for the receive and file the minutes of the technical committee meeting of May 8th. The minutes that were included in the packet are draft minutes. There's a couple of errors that are going to be corrected when the committee meets in June. And then our ongoing practice after that will be that at the meeting that we're having, there'll be the draft minutes of the meeting right prior, and then there'll be also the approving minutes of the month prior to that. So you'll see two items in future months related to the technical committee. One, draft minutes for that month, and one's the approved minutes for the month prior. So I don't think I have anything else on any of the consent agenda items. Any questions by the board about the consent? Move approval. Second. Clive and Johnston, discussion. All those in favor of approving the consent agenda items 5A through F indicate by saying aye.
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 Motion's approved. Board action items, I'm going to ask Bill Smith, our interim executive director, to address the board action items A, B, and C. Bill?
Thank you. First up, we have a motion to authorize the executive committee to negotiate with and engage bond counsel. As you know, we'll need that before financing transfers in December, having several months to prepare. Before that is desirable, let's begin the process, and before you use a motion to that effect.
So moved. Second. Normal.
Clive and Normal. Sorry about that, Tom. Discussion on the motion to authorize the executive committee to negotiate. Ready to vote? All those in favor of the motion indicate by saying aye.
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 Those opposed? Motion's approved. Item 6B. Bill?
Next is a similar motion to authorize the executive committee to negotiate with and engage special legal counsel for CIWW with respect to operating contracts and transfer of operational property rights. If, as we anticipated, January 1st operational date, we need to have a considerable amount of legal paperwork done before, real estate and agreements. So this is a motion to authorize the executive committee to find the right firm to do that work and make the engagement.
So moved. Second.
Clive and Johnston, discussion? Motion on the floor is to authorize the executive committee to engage or to seek and engage firms, plural, maybe, for that purpose. All those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion's approved. Item 6C, approval of bylaws. Bill?
Last month you had before you the bylaws. The agreement requires that they come before you twice, and this is the second reading. So this is a motion to approve the bylaws that were presented to you at the April meeting. A resolution, thank you very much.
So moved. Second.
Clive and Johnston to approve the bylaws. There are no changes from the April meeting. All those in favor of the motion indicate by saying aye.
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 Those opposed? Bylaws are approved. Thank you, Bill. Actually, why don't you take, over after this is referred to the Finance and Audit Committee. There was an email that I asked for volunteers a week ago. And then yesterday I sent out the results of the 6 people that volunteered. And what we have, Tom Cope from Johnston, Sue Hubbard from Des Moines Water Works, John Kuhn from Urbandale Water Utility, and Carol Freeman from Warren Water. Our board members are trustees, and also we have 2 alternates, Scott Brennan from West Wind Water Works and George Meineke from Norwalk. Are these 6 that would be on the finance committee. So any questions or comments about those 6?
Move approval. Second.
Clive and Johnston to affirm the appointments. Is there questions? All those in favor of the affirmation of the appointments indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Appointments are affirmed. Bill?
The next 4 items are financial and management questions that we would recommend referring those to the Finance and Audit Committee just appointed to consider and bring back a recommendation. These are on an agreement with PFM for financial advice, a proposed investment policy for CIWW money, a reserve policy, reserve fund policy, how much reserve should be maintained and how rapidly should we achieve it, and an interim purchasing and expenditure policy so that we can manage without coming to the board every time, as most of you have in your own organizations. So those 4 items, we request that you refer those to the Finance and Audit Committee.
So moved. Second.
Clive and Johnston to refer those items to the Finance and Audit Committee. Discussion? All those in favor of referring those items to finance and audit would indicate by saying aye. Those opposed? The ayes have it. I think we've had a couple of people join us, virtually in the last few minutes. Jake Anderson I saw up there, and Matt Quillen. There may be a couple others, so. Recommendations from the committee, executive committee, met, in May. No, I think it was dates.
We met in May.
Yeah, it was May, all right. Bill, you want to take the first three, please?
Certainly, these are information items. You in April authorized the executive committee to conduct these negotiations. They've been completed and they're reported to you here. The first is the professional services contract with, I'm sorry, this is not a contract at this point. This is the request for proposals went out for a search firm, an executive search firm, to conduct the search for the permanent executive director. Those were due in on Monday. We received 4 proposals from Francis and Associates, from the Palmer Group, from MGT, HR USA is an associated name with them as a division, and RC Associates. They've been referred to the executive committee, which is considering them, and if we find there's an adequate one in there, then we're ready, and if we need to go back to the market, we can go back to the market. The second item is an executed agreement with me to serve as interim executive director. That's in your packet. The third item is executed contracts for legal services with learned counsel from Brick Gentry Law Firm and from the Dickinson Bradshaw Law Firm. And thank you very much. So that's your information of those 3 items. The fourth one, you'll vote.
I will. The insurance policy that was attached to the packet, 46 pages. I noted that the policy documents were dated May 2nd, 2024. And however, we've been assured that the policy that was purchased was claim-based. So coverage will be provided for any, which is a minuscule possibility, claims made against any actions that the board may have taken on April 24th. So there's still a possibility that the document may be dated on April 24th, but if it's not, the date of May 2nd would still cover us if any claims are made today or in the future. So I want to make sure that the board, if they have caught that, that matter has also been addressed. And then there's a note about workers' compensation, and that policy has also now been secured through RAS Insurance, highly rated company, at a rate of $837 for the annualized rate. So both policies are in effect and taken care of at this time. So I don't know that there's any action needed by the board on any of those items, but they're all there for information. Questions? Okay, we'll move on to the reports from the interim executive director on several items.
And this is just to inform you of progress being made. We've received our federal employer identification number. Our bank account is now active at Bankers Trust Company, and it even has money in it because Amy has processed 6 payments at this point of capital contributions. So there are 3 in the financial statement that you had earlier, and 3 more came in just today, or banked just today. So the process is rolling. We have, as of today, just been advised that we have our website the CIWW.gov, we now have to do some other things to activate it, which I'm not sure I understand them all yet, but we'll be doing that tomorrow. I don't know if it can be done in a day, but we'll certainly work at it tomorrow. And I believe those are the pieces that I wanted to report to you.
Questions, Bill, on any of those? Rick?
For the purposes of our minutes, I believe your report included a statement that there have been no disbursement yet of CIWW funds.
I think that was stated as of May 10th.
As of May 10th, that statement is true. I wrote some checks today. 2 checks.
Which will be reported at the next meeting.
Correct.
So,
Thank you, Rick. Question, Tom?
so I haven't seen this financial summary. It wasn't included in the board packet.
It's part of the consent agenda.
It is part of the consent agenda. Okay, so, all right, thank you.
There wasn't a lot to report at the time this packet was prepared, so it's.
It's the shortest and sweetest financial
It will
report
probably
you'll ever
happen.
see.
It'll become more robust.
It will, yeah, okay. Okay, but so it's in the consent part of the packet. Okay, great.
Yes, item 5F.
Okay, thanks.
Thanks. Yeah, that's my items. Perhaps the finance committee members would stay a minute afterwards and we could compare calendars.
Good idea.
I see several.
Any questions of Bill on the interim executive director report? If not, the next one's up, water producers report.
I would share a couple of things. From a Des Moines Waterworks perspective, for the first time in a number of years, we're experiencing some minor flooding, which can be a good thing. Waterworks Park is actually closed because of minor flooding. George Flag is closed. Not problematic yet, but it's supposed to rain again Friday and Sunday. We shall see. The other thing, and probably more importantly today, is that we're, for the first time in a number of years, seeing very high nitrates in the rivers again. And the rain helps. It dilutes the nitrates. We're not having problems today, but what we expect after 4 years of drought is when the rains stop and the tiles continue to flow, we're gonna have serious problems with nitrate contamination in the rivers this spring. So it's making you aware, keeping a close eye on it, and using all the tools at our disposal, keep you posted as the spring continues.
Operations at AC Ward continue to be normal.
Questions of Ted or Christina? Now we'll move to the board clerk's report.
Just a note on here, we're trying to build a long-range and capital improvements committee. We have a handful of them, but we're missing quite a few of those committee appointments, and while we haven't need just yet to convene that committee, it is coming soon. So if you haven't designated a representative for the long-range planning improvements committee, please get that to either Amy, Ted, or I, so we can put that together. And then
FYI,
Yeah.
Dan mentioned that he would be interested. Dan,
okay. And that could be, it can be at staff level or from this committee, it's whoever you want to represent. So
Every member will have a representative there.
that's correct.
So how did that communication go out seeking members? Was that an email to us as board members or to our city staff?
Yeah, so we kind of, in the planning sessions that we had, kind of prompted people to sort of nominate somebody for their technical committee and this long-range committee. And then in the technical committee, we kind of prompted at the staff level to start thinking about that. So no formal communication had been sent out to this board about, we really need that representative. It's just, I thought we'd share, try to get that ready to go. It's not as urgent as some of our other committees, so just something to be thinking about. And then just a housekeeping sort of item, I'm looking to see, and you just let me know, or Ted or Amy, or if you would like a hard copy of the board packet printed for you to have here, or available for pickup, maybe at West Des Moines Waterworks, just let us know. I don't want to print if we don't need them, but if you would like us to print them, just let me know.
One other thing, it was suggested that facility tours might be valuable for the board members in the various treatment facilities around the metro. And so we are going to schedule a tour of the Fuller Drive treatment plant, one of the Des Moines Waterworks treatment plants. You're getting an email tomorrow advising you of the proposed date of that tour, and if we have enough availability mid-June, we'll have a tour, and if that date doesn't work, and we'll find another date, and then we're gonna work our way through the various facilities around the metro, and whoever's interested and available can attend and see a tour of each facility, one at a time.
Okay. Any questions about the board clerk report? If not, technical committee, Kyle?
The technical committee has been meeting for over a year now, which has allowed us to get a real good jump start on planning on several important projects. One of those being the expansion of the existing Sailorville water treatment plant. Design is underway of that. We've also bid and awarded the feeder main project for that, which will be going through Johnson. Construction will be starting soon on that. That's an important project, will allow us to utilize the water from the Sailorville plant, even at existing capacity, and moving more water out west where it's the biggest need at this point. We have also initiated a treatment plant study for a future treatment plant study. So we're working with the consultants, also looking at population and demand projections out to 2050, with that a report generated on that to share with us.
I had our city staff from Johnston, because some of those issues are sort of Johnston specific, sat down with me and walked me through some of the work that the technical committee has done. It's very robust, the work that the committee is doing. So I think it might be helpful, I know from my perspective, that the kind of the packet that the technical committee reviews electronically maybe be circulated to board members. Because I do think that that will help get us educated to issues that might be, especially as a new board, we're kind of, what are we responsible for? What are some of these tasks? I think the work that the technical committee is doing might be a good backgrounder for board members. So I would just ask that, after a technical committee meeting, that their packet that they have, I would encourage that those be circulated to the board members.
Any other questions of Kyle on the technical committee? Thank you, Kyle. Any other business, folks? Yes, young lady.
I had a question, Mr. Chairman. How's your tooth?
Tooth is fine.
Poor guy who was trying to get into his dentist before this meeting. So he made it through the meeting very well, Mr. Chairman. 5D, now that we have voted on the upcoming board meetings, will they be sending out those notices to our calendars to populate, when those meetings are? Could we do that? That would be great.
Yes.
And I just wanted to point out that November meeting is the day before Thanksgiving. And is that an issue for anyone with travel, et cetera, to make sure that we have a quorum?
Good point. I'm sure for that one, we'll query the board in advance to see if we are going to have 7 folks here for our ordinance. So.
Or could we shift it a week earlier?
Good.
We're doing that in December. We're moving it up a week.
So there's precedent, all right?
There's precedent. But by doing that, that conflicts then with the West Des Moines Waterworks Board meeting, so we're already having to move our West Des Moines trustee meeting. It's fine to do that, it's just, we need to know in advance, so. Anything else, folks? If not, the board's adjourned at 3:26. See you in June.